Namaste. Very happy to speak to you on occasion of International Day of Yoga, which we are going to celebrate soon. In view of this, I would like to tell you the significance of yoga, one of the darshanas of Indian culture. I am as a worker of Vivekananda Kendra, which is a spiritually oriented service organization with its headquarters at Kanyakumari, has a foundation of yoga for its all service activities. As you know very well that yoga has four dimensions, as Swami Vivekananda has said very beautifully in one of his quotations. He said, each soul is potentially divine. The goal of life is to manifest this divinity by controlling nature, external and internal. Do it either by work, karma yoga, worship, bhakti yoga, psychic control, jnana yoga, and psychic control, raja yoga, and philosophy, jnana yoga. Aurobindo Maharshi has said very beautifully, yoga is a scientific and systematic way of journey of a man from animal man to divine man. He said, as we start growing, we simply being animal develops our personality as a human being and then lastly becomes the divine. With this understanding that yoga is a darshana, a vision of life, we must understand what these four yogas are there. As a human being, when you are born, we are provided with instruments for blossoming our personality or developing our personality or growing to divinity, which is the ultimate aim of the human personality. As you know, in Indian culture, the Purusharthas are there. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Moksha is totally detachment, freedom, total freedom. What Swamiji has said in his definition of yoga. So when we are born, we are having four instruments which can be used to interact with the society in which we live, interact with the nature, interact with the animals and the plants, and slowly grow with a vision of equanimity of mind. The spirituality is nothing but the equanimity of mind, the containment of mind, the control over the mind, the service attitude. These are the parameters of a spirituality. Now these four instruments which are given to us or provided to us by Almighty God, they are body in which we have karmendriya and jnanendriyas, which has limitations. The eyes cannot see beyond certain limits. The ears cannot hear the sound beyond certain limits. The hands cannot reach everywhere. So these jnanendriyas and karmendriyas, though they have certain powers or strength, they have limitations of their own. And that is one of the reasons that the karma yoga is very, very useful, because it is in just vicinity of our things where we can work on. Subtler than our body is our mind, which is abstract, which is unknown, and which is very complex. Mind, when it becomes calm and quiet, has tremendous capacity of creativity. Man can create anything out of his mind. The mind has power of expansion. And Swami Vivekananda therefore says, expansion is life. Expanding our mind is one of the topmost quality a man can develop. Sky is the limit for this expansion. So how this mind can be controlled and can be used for the good of the society is also in the hand of a human being. Subtler than mind are our emotions. Emotions, as we know, there are positive as well as negative. For example, anger is definitely an emotion which turns towards negativity slowly. On the contrary, love is a very positive emotion. Love, as it expands, we can love the entire creation. That is what we are seeing in the lives of sages and saints of our day. So these emotions are to be controlled, channelized and used for the good of the society, and through this man can grow. So emotions are subtler than the mind, and the fourth one is your intelligence. Intelligence, man has been provided with this greatest instrument of intelligence. And because of intelligence, today man has created so many wonderful things. Today I am in contact with you through this mobile or through these telephones, through Doordarshan. All these things are nothing but the creation of human intelligence. So these four instruments are there, and by depending on these four instruments, by using these four instruments, we can develop our personality, grow our personality, expand our personality. And this four systematic training of these four, that is the body, the mind, the emotions, and lastly the intelligence, man can reach to divinity. And that is what we call yoga. Through yoga, you can grow from Atma to Mahatma and Mahatma to Paramatma. So Aurobindo Maharshi, as I told you earlier, that animal kingdom, when we are born, we are only animal. We know only few things. We know how to eat. We do not know how to eat. We only eat, sleep, cry. These are the only things. In Hindi, हम कहते हैं खाना पीना रोना और सोना. Other than that, we do not know anything. As we grow, as our intelligence start understanding the intricacies of life, slowly we start, and then we turn into a man who looks after his family, little more selfish. He thinks of his family only. His area of operation, area of activity limits him to the family and the close relatives. Soon he grows and he understands that I am depending on not only on my family, but there is a society. That society also helps me a lot. And therefore I must start working for the society also. So he grows, and instead of contributing only for our family, he starts contributing to the society also. He becomes a superman. And lastly, the divinity, where it expands itself in such a way that whole creation, he works for the whole creation. All these four yogas are called as karma yoga. When we act, then we call Raja Yoga, when we control mind. We call Bhakti Yoga, when we surrender and renunciate everything. And fourth is Jnana Yoga. By intelligence, we start to understand what is the purpose of this life. So, on this day of International Yoga, we should not only limit ourselves to the yogasanas or Surya Namaskar, which are physical exercise, but expand our own personality to take care of the entire creation. Thank you very much.